Shalom Avrocha. It's been a while since the last video clip that we uploaded. So we're going to continue on page Mem Hey, Tiferes Lemoishe, which this part talks about Le'ahav Yehudi Kamocha, the concept in the Mitzvah of V'ahavta Recha Kamocha. What does it mean to love like yourself? I mean, ultimately, we know that we tend to treat others like we treat ourselves, subconsciously even. So there's certain, for example, if somebody's unkind towards others, usually it's because they're unkind towards themselves in some way or other. So what does it mean, Le'ahav Kamocha? I mean, if what I'm trying to change is trying to do to others like I do to myself, well, I do that anyway. So what does that mean to love myself? How do I love myself? It's a klal, a klal that would apply to everybody, not like some people. Like if you love yourself, then love other people like you love yourself. What does that mean? So many Svarim have gone into depth to try and understand this concept of Haftarach Kamecha. The simple meaning would to love another like yourself would be just like you love yourself in a certain way, you should love another yid in the same way. Meaning the same measure. So don't love anybody else more than yourself, technically. The Holy Svarim have explained to us that there's a very deep meaning. Every person loves themselves without any specific reason. So even if the person doesn't have any particular positive qualities, he'll still love himself. Even if he's got lots of shortfalls, shortcomings, not shortfalls. Even so, he doesn't see any difficulty in loving himself despite the lack of what he has to offer. Because a person towards themselves loves themselves without any shortcomings. It's just like you love yourself with your shortcomings, so too you should love somebody else with their shortcomings. Meaning there shouldn't be a reason for you to or not to love yourself. Just like there isn't a reason to or not to love yourself, so too there shouldn't be a reason to or not to love somebody else. You should love him just because he's a yid. This concept goes over Rabbi Kodesh Mitzvah. It's also in the Lemoishe. And the Sefer Lemoishe, the Kshenav Rav says, what does that mean? Just like a person knows a bad quality about themselves, they don't hate themselves for it. Even though he hates the bad within, he doesn't hate himself. So too, hate the bad within, but love the rest. What he's saying is, if somebody has a bad character trait, you can't say, I'm going to love them for their bad character traits. Of course not. But you can love the person. This person has a bad character trait. You can not love that part. You can love the rest of them. The Tzemach Tzedek, the Rabbi Trevor said, when he tries to explain another way of understanding in the flip side, whatever you don't want it done to yourself, whatever you hate to be done to yourself, whatever you hate basically done, don't do to others. This is what the meaning is in a very deep level. A person will not really find the fault in themselves, at least on their own. So it doesn't mean that you don't know your own faults. Of course, any person with half a brain will know that they have shortcomings, they have faults, and they have things they need to work on. He himself will know more than others because he's privy to a lot more of his own information than others would be. So it's not to say that everyone is privy to all their shortcomings, but if somebody were to be honest with themselves look themselves in the mirror and to do a tally of all the things, as they are, as they do on a day-to-day basis, where they're falling short, what they can improve, what they're doing good. Only they are aware of all this information. Nobody else can be as aware as they are. Another person can only sees what they see. They only know what they see, and if they can only make assessments based on what they see. But the person themselves knows what's going on in their heart, in their mind. The idea behind it is that, of course, he knows what his shortcomings are and what he needs to improve. But that in itself doesn't make him think I'm a bad person, or at least shouldn't make him think I'm a bad person. I'm a good person. I have this negative law. I'm a good person. I want to do good. It's not like it's not like he doesn't see it at all. Because of the great love that he loves himself. But he'll still love himself despite that. So he'll call out the things for what they are, but they're not going to inspire him to lower his love or to develop a hatred towards himself. And therefore they have no room to make a change in his attitude towards himself. So that he doesn't see the shortcoming. And because his love will cover all the bad things. That's also, parent to a child. We say that, that his love should cover our sins, just like we do to ourselves. And that's why he explains. What goes really deep to it is when somebody else feels that they can judge you and criticize you of your shortfalls. That's why a person gets annoyed, because it's almost like you don't know anything, because you don't know what's going on within me. Could be that this fellow is pointing out something which is true. Because for the first time in this instance, I suppose, usually he can look at his shortcomings, but he can see it in the big scope of things, and a love for himself covers that over. So therefore, it's not highlighted and spotlighted. But when his friend talks about it, then all that other love and everything doesn't come into that he has for himself doesn't come into the question. And because of that, people look at this negative thing in isolation and they can't understand it. And so that's what the Tzemach Tzedek says, that when somebody will see the iniquity in him and understand that this particular part, then he'll get very angry. Even though he knows it's true what this person is pointing out. That because usually when he looks at himself, he knows, he takes the whole of himself into consideration, and he knows, yes, this is a bad thing that I have, but it doesn't make me bad, and it doesn't mean I have to focus on this, because I'm taking everything good together, and the rest of all the goods will cover it because of the love for myself, a person thinks. But when this person is taking it out, so therefore, the fact that there's this negative trait doesn't have a strong power over him to change his mood. But when this person says it, it will change his mood. Because now they don't have the love to cover it, the love for himself to cover it. When he knows himself, then his own love will cover it. Because now he's going to have animosity towards his friend for revealing this negative quality trait that he has. Because instead of there being love to cover it, it's just it's standalone. And now it seems to be something which has life, something which is concrete. It's like a concrete thing. This is this person's behavior. And when the person himself looks at it because of his love for himself, it is a behavior, but it's not something concrete, because it's something that can be changed. And it's not something that's set in, that's cast in stone, iron, whatever. And the Tzemach Tzedek finishes with the following words. Sani can also mean revealed. Whatever is revealed to you, You shouldn't see his faults, whether it's towards himself, whether it's towards between two people, or towards heaven, to Hashem, the Ish. Don't make it a concrete thing. Don't call it out and spotlight it and highlight it to give it life. Your love for him should, even though you see it for what it is, because of all the goodness that you see around it, it should cover that. And don't allow it to have the effect. Don't allow it to be concrete, to become concrete, something which can't be changed. And just like a person will have a certain love towards somebody else, that because of the strong feeling, as I call it, whatever bad will happen, it won't have any room to change the reality of it. Because the love is so strong, anything done in opposite to that will not have any foothold. Join us for the next one.